He is second in assists. He isn't leading his team. And that's a big no-no for me. I think you got to give Kroos some credit for winning for Germany and being the architect of that team. I think you got to give credit to him for how he's played with Real Madrid. And this, by the way, this isn't me saying that Kroos is better than Messi. This is me saying that Messi just didn't have a better year. Kroos was part of the Bayern Munich team that made the semifinals in the Champions League, something Barcelona failed to do, only reaching the quarterfinals. They also didn't win the championship. Barcelona took home no silverware last year.
But
they didn't take home any silverware. He didn't lead them to anything.
It's not a team award, though. It's not a team award.
It isn't a team award, but when you're the best player on the team, your team, how it performs. If you want to talk about personal achievement, he isn't leading his team in goals, and he isn't leading his team in assists. And he wasn't able to step up when it mattered.
All he did do was break the UEFA Champions League.
But that's a cumulative thing. That comes from other seasons, Jake. You can't take other seasons into account. This is just for this year.
That's fair. It's very tough for me to say that he doesn't deserve the nomination.
I mean, it's not that he doesn't. He already got a nomination for the shortlist, but when it comes to the top three...
Okay, fine. Shortlist and fine. If you don't want to put him in top three, I would personally disagree. But I don't disagree strongly enough to try and fight you on it.
You ask me, pick the top three players. I'm picking, in the world, I'm picking Messi. But when it comes to just how they performed this year and their impact on their team, I just don't think Messi had the same impact. For me, Messi didn't deserve to win player of the tournament. I think that the way he played in the last two games wasn't anything spectacular at all. I think that there's a reason he wasn't named to... There's the award for the best South American soccer player. He was not one of the final three. There's a reason for that. There's a reason he was not named as one of the final three soccer players. There's a reason for that. Di Maria, James Rodriguez, and Neymar were. There's a reason. It's because he hasn't played as well as we expect. Now, maybe he should have been over there. Maybe he should have been one of the three. But he just hasn't played at the level we've come to expect from him. You've got to lead your team in goals for me. You've got to lead your team in something, and he hasn't done that. But at the end of the day, there's only one guy for me that really deserves it, and that's Cristiano Ronaldo. And this, for me, should be a landslide. Ronaldo may as well have won the award. I mean, the guy has played out of his mind, so I'm giving it to CR7. Jake, do you have a winner? Or a projected winner?
He takes pictures out of his pants, he plays out of his mind. Cristiano Ronaldo is a god, and Cristiano Ronaldo, that dude, CR7, will win BTO Ballon d'Or.
That dude. Well, we're going to go over now. We were talking about a little bit of the Spurs controversy. We had some pitch invaders, and UEFA is opening proceedings. Jake, take it away with our next topic.
I watched it before my own eyes. The controversy unraveled in front of me. I actually watched a Europa League game. On Thanksgiving, I was accused of being un-American by numerous people, including my fellow co-host, Noah Jaborda. It was a blowout between Cowboys and Eagles, but in the game against Partizan Belgrade, 3 separate pitch invasions in the first half. It was later discovered that these 3 hooligans were members of a British YouTube comedy channel, and they accepted what they called the Pitch Invasion Challenge to see if it was John, Chris, or Damien could last the longest running around on the pitch at White Hart Lane. Damien, I think, lasted the longest, but they'll all be lasting in jail, perhaps, because in England, that's a crime. And they're not happy about it in Tottenham, and UEFA will be opening proceedings to see how this could have happened. 3 separate pitch invasions in the first half. It even caused a suspension of the match. It looked like there'd be an early halftime after the 41st minute. Tottenham did go on to win that game at the final of 1-0 and put themselves in good position for match day 6 of Europa League play. But what will we see unfold here, Noah?
Well, just to clarify, one of the big reasons they are under investigation is the fact that 2 Spurs players, Roberto Soldado and Moussa Dembele, became involved in stopping these men, which is not something that UEFA looks fondly upon. They could be charged with violent conduct, and that's...
Well, here's the thing. They did get close to them. I believe it was John who tried to take a selfie with Musa, and Dembele did not appreciate that and actually shoved him to the ground. This is why Damien beat John, by the way. Damien was able to stay away from Musa.
This is a legitimate question, though. I have a question for Musa. You know, Messi has pitch invaders and signs their jerseys. Most soccer players gives them hugs and take the pictures. Why did Musa feel the need to shove him to the ground?
Because he was tired of this. This was the third pitch invasion in the first half.
That's true. I guess that's true.
Let me play. Actually, have some respect for what's going on around you.
I will say that if these people are true Spurs fans, I would be embarrassed. They're not. They're not. Okay,
they picked Tottenham as their.
Still, that's a positive because I would be so embarrassed. I would still be embarrassed as a Spurs fan and as a Spurs player.
I'm embarrassed
with the way that the fans carry themselves. That even people are doing this. They have no respect for what's going on around them. The fans that came there to watch the game. Imagine if it had gotten out of control. Imagine if that had sparked other people coming onto the field. Imagine if somebody had gotten hurt. I just don't think it's responsible of them. I don't care what it's for. It's just not all right. But we do have to talk about what will happen. I mean, obviously, UEFA still needs the report from the match officials and its own delegates. But at the end of the day, what do you think the penalty will be? What kind of punishment are you thinking? Will it be individual? Will it be towards just the Spurs? What do you think?
I think Dembele will be let off with a free pass, and I think Roberto Soldado will be sent in damnation to the third circle of Dante's Inferno. As a gift for Spurs. No, I do not know UEFA's violence conduct policies, so I don't know. I'm really just taking a shot in the dark. Again, I didn't even know Soldado was involved in this. I noticed what Dembele did, and I think his was a little more blatant, so he might get a match suspension for a fixture or two. Soldado, I really just didn't actually see that, and I was watching the game. Then again, Soldado doesn't really do much for Spurs, so I don't think... I mean, hopefully they suspend him for quite some time.
Well, you know, I don't know. Maybe a suspension for a Europa League game for both of them, but I don't. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be like that big of a deal at the end of the day. Maybe Dembele for a suspension, and I think that would be fitting. But for me, the biggest issue isn't whether they're suspended or not. It's just how fans carry themselves. I mean, Pochettino said for people who love the game, it's a bit sad and it's a bit embarrassing, and I come to expect more of the fans. You know, I saw this happen when Roma and Real Madrid were playing, when there was about 13 people who came onto the field at the same time. It doesn't matter at that point, but the fact that these players, that these fans may or may not end up getting a player suspended, though that is his fault for shoving a guy, but the fact that he comes into the field and it could actually hurt the team, that's just being ignorant. It's just not something I look fondly upon.
And the YouTube video, the channel is the Troll Station channel, who have nearly 193,000 subscribers. The video, Pitch Invasion Prank Tottenham vs. Partizan Belgrade, 454,375 views. Just play the beginning for so you can hear what these guys' rationale was.
Today we're going to see me last longer on the pitch myself, Jarvis or Nathan.
Okay, they were not named John, Chris, and Damien. It was Jarvis, and Nathan, and myself.
Good try, Jake.
Interesting name for your first point. But yeah. Here, what the, I mean, they seem pretty happy with it. They showed their faces on video. I don't know if they realized that this was a crime. Also, I mean, the second guy, I think it was Jarvis, or maybe it was Nathan, who, when he ran onto the pitch, we're on a first name basis now, we're tight. When he ran onto the pitch, the security guard tries running after him and trips over the barrier and just completely eats it, like face plants. So maybe you need better security at White Hart Lane too? these aren't fans. These are pranksters. These are hooligans. It's embarrassing that it happened at White Hart Lane, but I don't think that Tottenham fans should take the fall for this. Yeah. I mean, we played bad enough without us invading the pitch. We don't need to make things worse.
It's unfortunate, but unfortunately for Spurs, even if they're not Spurs fans, they were wearing Spurs apparel.
They were.
Yes, they were.
If you look, no, it looks like it, but if you look at the video, they were not wearing Spurs apparel. I thought they were too at first, but no, they were not. They were wearing these white jerseys.
So they were supporting.
They were not Spurs.
So they were pretending to support Spurs.
It literally no, they weren't even pretending to. The font on the front was red. It says B. Hold on. We're gonna get a full view of the front side of this kit, and then we'll move on. Bass Buds H. Yes, Bass Buds H.
Bass Buds
H.
H.
Very Tottenham like to me.
You don't know. Bass Buds may be the new sponsor. Bass Buds H coming to you soon.
We have a fallout with AIA. Bass Buds H will be taking its place. It's on the second wackiest sponsor behind Wonga.com.
Okie dokie. Well, let's move on now to the Euro Top 5. Jake, would you like to do the honors, or would you like me to go first? And you know what, let's do it this time. Let's go spot by spot. Let's go spot by spot.
I like it.
Okay, so we'll start with number 5. Jake.
In 5th, we have PSG.
That's who you got. I got PSG as well. Good start. Not great playing in France, I think, is probably one of the big reasons they actually are in the top 5. But watch out, Atletico Madrid is slowly creeping their way back up after an emphatic 4-0 win over Olympiacos. We're going now to another number 4. Jake, who you got?
4th after a really disappointing loss against Manchester City. It's not disappointing enough. I'm going to go with Barcelona at 4. They still got to get their act together.
You know what? I think Barcelona's won a bunch of games in a row. They've proven themselves again. Not to mention they picked up their 4-0 win against Apoel and Nicosia, as Jake likes to pronounce it. They beat Sevilla. They beat Sevilla, the 5th-ranked team, 5-1. This team looks great right now. Bayern lost 2-1 against Manchester City, a team that could barely beat. They could barely beat. No, they didn't even beat CSKA Moscow. They lost to CSKA Moscow. Sorry, this team is not yet my seal of approval. They are 4th for me. We move on to number 3, and I'll do it this time. I have Chelsea. They played better. They won. They still have yet to prove themselves against a really quality opponent, and that's what's holding them back for me. Jake, who you got in 3rd?
4th? I don't Bayern it, but I Bayern 3rd. Bayern Munich is in 3rd place. I don't just drop them from 1st to 4th after one slip up against Manchester City.
I didn't have them 4th in the first place. Okay, now on to number 2, and this should reveal it for me. I have Barcelona. They have played great, and I'm not a big fan of Barcelona, but I think they're playing very well right now. It's hard for me not to put them up there. They've looked convincing. They've gotten wins against good teams, something that I haven't seen from teams like PSG and Chelsea. Bayern Munich has gotten it. For me, 2, 3, and 4, there's rationale to switch them all up, but there is only one number 1 for me. Jake, who you got at number 2?
Number 2, have you seen Chelsea lately? No, you haven't. It's off the air. But the soccer team's in 2nd place in my rankings. Chelsea, they're doing very well in British play. We'll see how they do tomorrow against the Black Cats of Sunderland.
Well, number 1 is quite obvious at this point. The Orlando City. It's got to be them at this point. They have moved to Europe. They have moved to Europe, and they are looking phenomenal with a backline of Kaká, Kaká, he's playing